Hi, grade six. Today we're going to talk about Noodle Tools and making sure that you know what's expected of you for this summative project with ancient civilizations. Many of you who have been here in previous years have probably seen Noodle Tools, either introduced from Miss Legita last year or even in fourth grade, but we're going to talk about some changes of what's expected of you in sixth grade. So, the first place I'm going to start, and I'll put the link on your Google Classroom, is the ICS Library homepage. So, I'm going to click down in this bottom portion of the middle and high school resources on Noodle Tools. So, I'll click there, and this will take you to the login page. You're going to need to sign in with your Google account. Okay. So once that's done, it shouldn't be too hard. You are going to come to your homepage, and you may or may not have anything here yet. I know that Miss Kim in science has been using Noodle Tools as well as Miss in essay in design. So you may have already had some experience here, but you're going to start a new project, okay? And you're just going to hit this new project button over here. You're going to want to make sure it's open to the current school year. You may have previous ones. If you notice, this looks a bit different from last year. I have projects from last year's exhibition, um, and then even from your fifth grade year, or sorry, your fourth grade year, where I was working with the exhibition kids online. So I'm going to make sure I'm in the current year, and I'm going to start a new project. Okay. This is one I was playing around with. So I want you to just name yours Ancient Civilization Research on your new project tab, okay? You're going to want MLA format and you want to change this to starter, okay? So we are not in advanced yet. We are just getting started with this. So MLA and starter level. So I'm going to submit that, okay? And you'll see this pops up under the tab of My Projects. This is the teacher view, so you may not have an inbox project, but you're going to have a My Projects tab. So, one of the great things you can do here is you can hit the plus button for sharing, okay? And you're going to want to share with a teacher's inbox. So, if I look here under my inboxes, I'm going to go back. This is the teacher view. I've already made an inbox called G6 Ancient Civilization. Okay, and if I open that up, you can see this is where I played around with Ermias one day before we left for our fall break, and we just wanted to see if he could add a project here, and it worked great. So you're going to want to share yours with G6 Ancient Civilization. So back under My Projects, the one we were just working on, I'm going to hit the plus sharing button, and then teacher's inbox. This is where I'm going to type the G6 ancient civilizations. Now, mine says no record, and that's because I'm the teacher who made the inbox. So I'm not able to see my own inbox. But as you start typing, you should see the G6 ancient civilization pop up down here, and you're going to click on that. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to close that, but we'll pretend that you've done that you've shared it with me. Okay. So under G6 Ancient Civilization, I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this one because this is just the practice one I just made. Under there, you're going to find, or inboxes, excuse me. If I go back one, we're not here yet. Ignore this part. Um, Going back to the inboxes, if you share with G6 Ancient Civilizations, I should see all of grade six and not just one student. Okay. So that's all you have to do for that part. That gets you a project and it gets it shared with a teacher. So that's step one. Okay. Now, the next part is how do we add resources? Okay. So I'm going to open my project and you can just name it like ancient, Ermias, ancient China, just your first name and then the culture that you are researching. Okay. When you open this up, at first you'll have nothing. So, what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to hit this green button for adding new sources. Now, this might seem a little bit redundant. We wanted to practice a little bit before we got into Noodle Tools, but from now on, we'll be able to add all of our sources here instead of creating these kind of documents every time. Okay. This will kind of compile everything in one place. So, if you remember from last week, I started with this supporting question, which is kind of like a research question, because my compelling question would be I need more specific research questions to answer my compelling question. So I'm looking at how did ancient Greece provide food for the population? So if I come here, I want to add this resource. I'm going to hit plus new resource, and this happens to be a website in this case, and I'm going to choose web page. If I recall from all my work here, remember I told us maybe we wanted to keep track of all of this stuff. All right, I'm going to highlight my URL for this particular site, and I'm going to start inputting my information here. So the URL, I'm just copying and pasting. So right click, paste. The publication, I took note of that, was August 7th, 2017. So I'm going to choose August 7th, 2017. All right. And then let's just pretend I accessed it today was the most recent time because I am actually in that, in that page right now, although it logged me out a little bit, but that's okay. So coming back here, I know that it's more of a group than it is a first or last name for this web page. So when I think about the author, I know that when I looked at this web page, one of the issues we talked about, if this will hurry up and let me log in quickly, was that there were two contributors. It was first written by the Ancient History Encyclopedia, and then it was edited by News ELA. So on Noodle Tools, I put Ancient History Encyclopedia. Oops, can't type today. And then I put them as the author since they're the original ones. And then I'm going to add another one um, for the editor since News ELA edited what they wrote and published it on their own site. Okay. Now here's where we need the title for the web page. So in this case, there we go. And if you recall, it was, come on. I searched the title words ancient Greece food first. All right. And then it was food and agriculture in ancient Greece. Okay. So under Noodle Tools, I'm going to type that out. Okay. All right. I need to keep scrolling down a bit once this catches up with me. And the name of the website is just News ELA, and the publisher is also News ELA. All right. I don't have any annotations to make just now, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now it looks like I have two. Oops. It looks like I missed something here with this one, but it should be the same one. Okay. The next thing I want you to do, once you're able to add, the rule here is you need to have at least 4 different ones, and these two happen to be the same. So I'm going to open up this one. All right, and see where I made a little change. Sometimes a little slow to go down to the bottom. Okay, so coming back to this project, the next thing to do is to make sure in my project I have at least 4 resources answering my questions. Okay, so right now it looks like I have 2, but they're actually the exact same one. So the next thing I want you to do, once you have all 4 resources that you've taken from here, is I want you to add a note card. Okay, so looking at Noodle Tools, this is where from now on, as we do research, we'll be able to add our notes. So if we click and we hit note cards for this project, you will see that I made one note card here. And when you open it up, this is where I just titled this Ancient Greece Food because that's what this particular supporting question was looking at. And the source from News ELA. Now, there are 3 boxes here, right? So direct quotations, paraphrasing, and my ideas. We didn't do any direct quotes yet from our text, but we did do our jot notes, okay? So this is where I'm able to come in and copy what I've already typed, which was, if you recall, my own wording. So I'm going to copy that. And then in Noodle Tools, I can add that here to my paraphrasing or summarizing. So these are just the information that I learned. So I could right click and paste, even though I've already done that. So the next part is here in this box, my ideas. So coming back here, that's where we kind of got this box from. So I can right click, copy, and then paste it into my ideas. Okay. So what you end up with here is many note cards that you can help organize your ideas and what you've learned about this project. So you can see this is in tabletop view, so you can just kind of see all the cards laid out with your information. And then the list view puts them all in an organized list. Okay, so you could put all of your questions, even though you might have two separate resources that deal with food, you could put all of those together here to kind of compile everything that you've learned about food in ancient Greece. Okay, so our goal is to make sure we have our sources, at least four of them for this project, in Noodle Tools correctly, and then we've started to put our notes in our note cards. Okay, so if you go back to what we discussed in the slides, you are going to need evidence of two standards here, that you can find resources and that you can give credit through Noodle Tools. So the list of sources shows that you know how to find sources to answer your questions and give credit to the people who actually created that information and compiled it, that you didn't just come up with it all on your own. And then the note cards show that you're able to take that information to defend an argument. Okay, so especially when you have your paraphrasing, summarizing, and your own ideas, these are the really big important parts. So that gives you a quick overview or semi quick overview of Noodle Tools. Okay, so make sure that you have at least four sources and note cards for each supporting question.